Only on 4 tonight, the new year will look very different for Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown, who for the first time in nearly 4 decades will not be holding public office and will not return to Capitol Hill. In his first interview since losing the election to Republican Bernie Moreno, Brown told me he will still be active, working to help the Democratic Party reclaim its position as the party for working Americans. And he says his own record will always be about the dignity of work.
Best day of my Senate career was on, I remember the date clearly, March 6, 2021. We were about to pass, with the vice president breaking the tie, 5150, the pension bill and the huge tax cut for 90% of workers in this country, that literally affecting 2 million children in Ohio alone, making a huge difference in their lives. And we did that in one vote on one day, by one vote. And whatever happens, I know that my role in that, to save the 100,000 pensions, a million workers around the country, 100,000 Ohio, and
Brown says his legacy will always include saved pensions and the PACT Act, named for an Ohioan that helps veterans injured by burn pits. Also, unwavering support for Ukraine. But Ohio's soon-to-be Vice President J.D. Vance has been a leading voice against continued U.S. support for Ukraine's war with Russia.
If the Russians overrun Ukraine, they bump up against the Polish border, and that means they bump up against NATO. And, we don't think about history much, but this is already the biggest land war in Europe we've seen since World War II. And if the Russians bump up against NATO, against Poland and Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Slovakia, all the way essentially to the Black Sea, it means that, does that mean we have to commit American troops? And nobody wants to do that. But that's our agreement with NATO.
I also want to ask you about immigration. We could, within a month, see what is being called the mass deportation plan.
Well, I think first we do, in fact, deport. We should, in fact, deport people who've committed crimes. That's probably agreed across party lines. I think employers are going to speak up, because employers know how important workers are to their companies. And I don't know how it'll play out.
What else do you want people to know about you? This is kind of the end of your Senate career, at least for now.
Got that.
What do you want the voters of Ohio to know about your time in office?
Well, that I was always on the side of the great majority of workers in this state, and we'll make those fights. We served, J.D. Vance told me, first time I talked to him 2 years ago, that my office had the best constituent service in the state, maybe the country. And I want people to know that regardless of their party, I served them and will continue to serve them in some capacity perhaps, but I'm proud of that record.
Coming up tonight at 11, we talk about what he expects to see under a second Trump administration. NBC4 is also working to get an interview with incoming Republican Senator Bernie Moreno. We've made several requests, have not yet heard confirmation of that.